Westminster Veterans Oral History Project. Today's date is November 21st, 2001. The interviewee is Mr. St. Louis with the Vandu's Regiment in Korea. Mr. St. Louis, what is your full name?
My full name is Bert St.
And can you tell me your date and place of birth?
I was born on the 15th of August 1931 in Matane, Quebec. That's Lower St. Lawrence.
What is your marital status?
Oh, I'm living a common law relationship at the moment.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I had 4 children, 2 living with me now.
And grandchildren?
I got grandchildren too, yeah.
You do, eh?
Yeah, they were born in BC.
Oh, okay.
Both of them.
Yeah. What are the names of your children?
My children I got 2 young girls, Jessica and Joanna, and they're from Pakistani father, and I got 1 grandchildren in France from a French citizen.
Oh, okay. Where were your parents from?
The parents were from Matane, Quebec, or the lower Matapedia Valley.
Okay. And how did you get from Matane, Quebec to New Westminster?
Yeah, when I was 18 years old. Yep.
In terms of just moving around, how did you end up at New Westminster?
Oh, because I had a son working at Whistler, and I had a youngest son, which is 15 years old, which was wanted to get an education in English language. So we moved to British Columbia to keep the family together.
Right. And how long have you lived here for?
I've been living up here 3.5 years now.
Could you tell me, just for the record, what your current address is?
My address is 1021 Always Street, apartment 317, New Westminster, BC.
Okay. And so you say you made it from Matane, you came to New Westminster because of your kids. Where else have you lived?
Oh, I live in Montreal for a long, long time. I worked there. And since I've been retired, I did live in Las Vegas for a while in the winter.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
For the weather?
Yeah, for the weather. Yeah, and it was nicer there.
Good, good. So what branch of the armed forces were you enrolled in?
I was in the infantry, airborne infantry. I joined up to be a paratrooper in the Royal 22nd Regiment.
And what was your rank and position?
My rank was private. That's the lowest rank you can get in the Army when you join up. And I served 3.5 years, and I came out as a private.
And when did you enroll in the armed forces?
I enrolled in February 1950.
And was that in Montreal that you enrolled?
No, I went to Quebec City. The first place you could enroll was Quebec City.
Oh, okay. Okay. What did your parents or what did your family feel about that?
Well, I guess I waited until I was 18 years old because before 18 years old you had to get your parents' signature.
Oh, okay.
My father was dead when my mother was alive, and I don't think she would have signed. So as soon as I got 18, I went up and joined up.
Okay. Did you enroll with friends or anything, or just on your own?
I enrolled on my own.
How many years of service did you complete?
I completed 6 years of service.
So
3.5 years with the Army and 2.5 years with the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Okay. So when you were with the Air Force, you started off as a private as well?
No, they gave me a couple of rank up. I started as an LEC leading aircraft.
Okay.
Because of my Army time.
Oh, okay. And did you, when you were discharged from the Air Force?
I was discharged leading aircraft.
Okay, good. Where were you discharged from duty?
I was discharged in Borden, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Camp Borden.
Oh, okay. So when you heard that when you heard that Canada was going to war in Korea, what sort of feelings were going through your head?
Well, I was looking for adventure, I guess. It didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And at first they said they will not take the regular force, they will only enroll a special force. So I was not going at the beginning, only later on.
Right, right. So it was your choice to join, and
it was my choice to join up, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a paratrooper.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what you became.
Yeah.
Where did you get your training?
I got my training in St. John's, Quebec, south of Montreal. That's where the same place they had the RNC a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic training was done there for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went to the unit in Valcartier, Quebec.
And did you do more training there?
Yes, you do more training. Then you spend, at first you're in the rifle company. Then after about 6 months, they open up different position and you move to support company. And you get trained in various things. I got trained in demolition and mines.
Right. So describe to me what that sort of training
This platoon was called the Pioneer Platoon, and their job was to lay mines, pick up mines, booby traps, and do various blowing up of things. So it's a demolition platoon.
Right. And so it wasn't reconnaissance then?
No, it's not reconnaissance. No, it's a demolition.
Right. Tell me, what was training camp like?
Oh, training camp was okay. It was in the summer and it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was no war going on there until June the 25th, so it was quite relaxed.
Right.
The army was quite small in those days.
Right.
Yeah.
Did things change once you heard about
Yeah,
the war?
as soon as they got as soon as the war started in Korea, they started recruiting people, and things started moving very fast as far as strength and quantity of people.
Right. So when you found out that you were going to Korea, what sort of feelings did you have?
Well, same thing. I wasn't. Every one of us, we knew that somebody would get killed, somebody would get hurt, but not every one of us had the same feeling that it wouldn't happen to us.
Oh, right.
Because if we had knew what happened to us, we probably wouldn't go.
Right.
So we all thought that it would not happen to us, which was good in my case.
Yeah, yeah. And so take me through a day, an average day at training camp before you go. When you heard that Korea, you're at war.
They accelerated the training on various weapons. You had to fire all the weapons. Every one of those infantry weapons, you had to be perfectly every day. And they brought up your battalion to full strength, which is 1,000 people. And they got all your inoculation shot. And then you were signed on for a vacation leave. And then you were going to Korea.
And what was the journey like to Korea?
It was a long journey from Quebec. You had to take the train up to Seattle, then take an American ship up to Fusan, Korea, and then Incheon, and then take another train, and you eventually got there on a truck.
Oh, really? So did you go straight from Montreal?
Yeah, from Montreal. From Montreal to the time you get to Korea, it took probably close to a month, because it was 23 days on the ship.
That long?
And the ship stopped in Yokohama for the American. They had to go and get their rifle and helmet.
Oh, okay.
And we were 3 days in Yokohama, and then they went to Incheon, South Korea, Fusan to unload some American. And by the time we got to Incheon, we had been on the ship 23 days.
Oh, wow.
But those are special troop ships.
Right.
With, maybe 3,500 people on board. The food is quite good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
No one got
Nobody.
seasick?
Oh, yeah, you get seasick from the storm. So if you got to go near the storm, we did get seasick for 2 or 3 days.
Right. So was that in the summer? Or?
It was in the spring. It was from March to April.
That's when you went out?
That's when I went out.
And what year was that?
This was 1952.
52, right. So you'd already been in the Army for 2 years?
2 years, yeah. I already been in the Army 2 years then.
Right. So tell me, what was it like when you arrived at your station in Korea?
Well, as we get closer to the front, it was becoming more serious. They gave us ammunition at the in Ishland, they called B Ishland. We got our first ammunition there, and then we all loaded into trucks, and we went to replace the 2nd Battalion of the Rangers that had been there 1 year. We were replacing it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was new. Everything was exciting to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we were quite go.
What was the environment like?
Well, it was all hilly. It was all hills. You climb an hill, and then you go down, walk into a small valley, and you climb another hill. You're always climbing hills and hills.
Oh, okay. And was it jungle or?
No, there was hardly no tree at all, just bush.
Oh, okay. And
it was just hills and small creek and one large river.
Right.
And we got there. We found out we were going to leave in what they call dugout.
Okay.
It's on the reverse slope, and it's all made in the ground with the roof over it.
And that was your camp? That was your
Yeah,
quarters?
that's where we stay. We stay on those dugouts, all 2 or 3 people.
Mm.
And that was the hardest thing, was living in those dugouts in the winter, because they had some snow in Korea, 3 or 4 inches snow sometimes, and there was no heat in those dugouts.
Okay.
So you had to sleep. We wanted to move our boots.
Right.
We slept full dress all the time.
Right.
And this was the hardest thing to live in those dugouts, physically.
Right.
They're not very healthy. They're a lot of humidity, and a lot of rats in there.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah, you have to watch for the rats because they bite you. They look sicky type of rats. They don't have any hair on it, see. You're always afraid of getting bite by those rats. And that was the hardest thing. In the winter. In the summer, the dugouts, okay, you can go outside, but in the winter, there was no heat because we had no stove and no fuel.
Right. So what was that? They just didn't supply you properly?
They just didn't, unless you were on a service thing in the back, 4 or 5 miles, then you were leaving tents with a stove in it. But if you were on the line there, it was strictly dugout.
The front line.
The front line, yeah. That's dugout on the reverse slopes, and there's 2 or 3 of you, and there's no heat and no snow. I saw one stove at one time, a homemade one. We used it one night. We had a bit of a fuel, but then after that we didn't have any fuel. So that was it. You slept in they gave us sleeping bags, and we slept fully dressed except our boots. We don't even move our boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been working on lumber camp before, so I was quite used to having no showers and stuff like that. But they will take us to shower once a month. They will say, tomorrow the truck comes for shower. Then you would go in the truck in the back, and there was tents with the shower, and you get in one end, throw your old clothing, and take a shower down the planks, and come up on the other end, and they will give us a shirt and a pair of pants that's been washed, and to replace, and the socks to replace what you left behind, and that'll be it for the next month.
So you'd feel good for a few days.
Yeah, feel good for a few days.
Yeah. When you went there, what were you expecting?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know what I would expect there. I didn't think we would stay that long on the line. Sometimes we stay close to 3 months on the line.
No kidding.
I would have thought we would go up 3 weeks and a half, but we move about 4 times in the whole year.
Right.
We stay about 3 months each time.
So you were there for a year then?
I was there for a year. The previous battalion was there for a year. We were there for a year, and we got replaced by a 3rd battalion that stayed 1 year, but then the war finished after 6 months.
Right. And so, what places were you at then?
We were just past the Indian River between the Hood and the 355. Always holding with the Commonwealth Division, always holding in front about 8 miles wide.
Right.
And we would move from one end to the middle or to the other end, replacing British or Australian people.
I see. Okay. Now the Koreans, what were they like?
The only Koreans we had was those service Koreans that were attached to us to work manual labor.
Oh, okay.
And we had 120 of those. They didn't bear any arms. They were either old people and fit for the army, or young people that had been hurt in the army and could not serve. I don't know. So their job was to dig trenches and do various manual labor.
So there's 120 of them?
120 of them attached to 1,000 people.
Oh, really?
To the battalion, yeah. They call them KSC, Korean Service Corps.
Oh, okay. Were you directly involved in any campaigns during the war?
Well, when I got there, the front was stationary. It was not budging anymore. It was just being reinforced and not budging. If some of those infantry would go up at night and take an hour, they would have to leave it in the morning, come back to the line. The line was stationary from both sides. And we were on the other side. They were telling us we were 500,000 of us on the south side, and the Chinese side was 1 million people, but we didn't see any. They were on the other side of the hill, too, buried even deeper than us, because we had air superiority during daytime, so they couldn't walk around like we did on the river slope. They had to come out at night only. Well, and for us during the day, we could walk around, and as long as we were below the skyline, it didn't bother.
Oh, I see.
The only plane in the air were our planes.
Oh, really? Eh?
So the Chinese had to burrow like what you see those.
Like moles or something?
Yeah, like moles. Yeah, so they had to burrow themselves and not show anything during the day. Otherwise, the plane would pounce on them.
Oh, I see. I see. What sort of duties did you have?
The first 3 months I was there, I worked with the platoon, and I lay some mines and do stuff like that. And then the next time we moved out to a different position, I was sort of the guy that disposed of all the strange things they were finding out during the night. They gave me an old truck and an old Korean to work with me. And every morning I will check with the sergeant major, and he would tell me, you have to go to a certain place, pick up something, and blow them up. It would be anything from the trailer from the RSM to 600 bombs that they found they couldn't use because they were dangerous. I had to blow all that stuff up.
Right.
That was my job.
Right. And how would you do that? Like, if you found a mine, what would you do?
Yeah, I would just carry it to a secure place there and lay some explosives beside it and detonate the thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was always looking for gullies and a small place where I can blow my stuff up. And,
so that's a dangerous job.
It was a very old truck, and this way they feel if they lose some, they would only lose one man. If they lose the truck, the Korean was the old fellow.
Right. And
I trained him just to carry stuff for me. And I did this for 3 months. And I had some close calls, but I enjoyed doing it because I was blowing things. The bigger the bang, the more I like it. It makes a lot of noise.
That dangerous.
Yeah, I was getting 600 bombs once, 81 mortar US. And they were, one of those bombs, they had been dug from the ground. Previously somebody had buried them in the ground when they were seesawing across the peninsula. So they were all wet. And when they put them to dry up in the sun. Then when they stopped to use them, one of them blew up in the barrel of the mortar and killed everybody. So they told me, you got to destroy those 600 bombs. And I looked at them, and the transport company refused to take them back to the rear. So I looked at them and also said, you have to blow up 3 at a time. And there was 600 of them. That would have taken weeks.
600?
600 of those things. So I loaded them up in my Korean service car and a truck, and it was 4 feet thick. And I drove, and I found myself a nice big valley, and I blew up 50. And then after that, I blew up 150. And then it was 20 minutes to 12, so I said, no, I'm going to blow all 400. That was left. But that was too much. Even with 3-minute fuse and the truck running, I couldn't get far enough.
Oh, really?
So I had to stop and get off the truck, and it blew up, and it was too close to me. So it went all over. It blew all kinds of holes in my trucks, and it messed up one of my ears. The ear that was looking, it was in the front of the truck looking like this.
Your ear?
This ear. It blew it. It messed it up.
Oh, really?
And it sits fire all in the valley from the tail from those bumps. So we made it home, and we kept quiet. My officer never said anything. Nobody knew what happened. And I went there 3 days later, and the hole was big enough they could have put a house in it. And it was still smoking, and there was a lot of British lifting their telephone lines for miles around. It was all broken, and it was quite a bang, quite a big bang. 400 bombs in one shot.
Scary, I bet.
Yeah,
scary. Okay, so that was for 3 months. What did you do after
3 months down, and then the next 3 months, our platoon was down. We were not getting any reinforcement from Canada. The 3rd Battalion was keeping all its pupils, so we were down to, my platoon went from 28 to about 10. So we were getting very small. They matched us with the sniper and scout platoon.
Where did you go from 28 to 10? Because people were getting
killed? People got killed and people got blew up.
Oh, okay.
They blew themselves up and they stepped on mines or charged. So we were down to 10. We didn't have a sergeant. We had an officer. We had lots of sergeants. And so they paired us up with the scout and sniper platoon, which were down to 9. And they had a sergeant but no officer. And they called us scout and pioneer platoon. So I stay in the dugout with 2 scout pupils. People that had been doing scouting there and sniping for the last 9 months. And that was different for me because they were different type of pupils.
Right.
And they had a nice rifle and they had nice equipment. They had infrared pack.
Oh, okay.
And a sniper rifle.
Right.
And I spent the whole 3 months with them in the winter of 52 with 2 scouts and sniper and me and one dugout. And they go out and do their things, and I go out and do mine.
Right.
Which was blasting. By that time I was blind. They were building those super dugouts for they thought the war would last so long. They were building dugouts. They were flush with earth. They were 14 feet deep with 7 foot of ceiling full of rocks. So they needed a railroad track for that. And my job was to blow the railroad track. They said, we want a railroad track blow at such and such land, and I would blow them up and do various things like that.
No kidding, eh?
They were going to build some super dugout that no bound could get through. You got to go down the ladder to get down.
Right.
That's what they were building after 2 years, 2.5
bunker,
years.
Eh?
Yeah, they were flush with the ground, not like the one that we were living in, which were on the reverse slope, and if you had a bomb on it, that was it. The roof was only about that thick. They were building those things where the roof was 7 feet, and 7 feet below, flush with the ground.
No kidding.
Super dugout.
So you did that for 3 months?
Did that for 3 months, and then I broke my. One night I fell into the small trench, and I broke my rear this thing up here.
Your heel?
Yeah, my heel. I broke one heel, so I was evacuated to Japan.
Oh, okay.
To Japan, and I was there 3 weeks, and I didn't know what's wrong with me because I didn't speak the language in those days. But that's what I had. I think a broken heel. After 3 weeks, they sent me back to Korea. By the time I got there, our year was coming to be over. There was only about a month left, and there was 16 of us that signed up for 3 years, and our 3 years had gone through, and our 1 year in Korea had gone through also. So they signed up 16 of us for 2 weeks in Japan, waiting for the battalion. In case something happened to us, they didn't want a problem with the family.
Right.
Because we did not resign, we did the whole contract. So then the battalion catch up with us, and we came back. I think the battalion, we came back, we left with 1,000, and then we come back about 440.
Really, eh?
But there was a lot of people getting hurt, people getting wounded, and stuff like that. And we were not getting any replacement at the end, so
right.
We were shrinking all the time.
Right, right. Okay,
and they were keeping all, the 3rd Battalion was keeping all those recruits for themselves to come up and replace us.
So to be clear then, you had 1 year stints.
1 year stints, yeah, from April to April. April 52 to April 53.
And when you sign up to the Army, it's a 3 year thing.
It's 3 years, and I signed up in February 1950. My 3 years came up in February 1953.
Right.
Since I went to Korea, I had more than 6 months to go. When I left Canada, they were allowed to keep me 1 year there.
Right.
So since I got there in April, and this 52, and this was April 53, my 1 year was up also.
Right.
And there were 16 of us that came from various companies. We all find ourselves at Vietnam, and then they said you're going to go to Japan and wait a couple of weeks for your battalion. Every one of us were getting out of the Army.
Right.
Yeah. And the highest rank was one guy was sergeant, and all the others were like me, private.
Right.
And they're all getting out for various reasons. We just signed for 3 years, and that was it.
Right. So describe to me what your uniform was like.
Well, the uniforms, you had no iron to iron it, and you always wear the same thing. And you get, except when you go to the shower, then they give you another one that's clean. So it's dirty for up to the end of the month, and then you get another one that's been washed, and a shirt that's been washed, and a pair of socks that's been washed, and you stop anew for 1 month. And we didn't wear any patch on the line. We didn't wear any badge because they shine. And so if you were looking at us, sometimes you had a hard time to say whether they were Canadian or not.
Oh, really?
Because there were a lot of trading between the Australian and the Canadian and the American. The Canadian will, in the fall, when it gets cold, they will trade inner parka in exchange for British boots, which were better.
And they wanted the parkas.
Yeah, they wanted the inner parka, not the outside, not the one that makes the noise. They wanted the inner, which was that snaps. It was more like a sheep's thing. Yeah. It's very warm. They wanted this, and we wanted their boots. So this was done, I would say this was done between the quartermaster. They would trade so many parka for so many pair of boots.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah. And then we would have British boots, and we would have American helmet, and we would have a Australian T-shirt. And so we were, and we had our 303, which was one-shot rifle. But they told us if you want anything better, because the Chinese got burp gun anyway. If you want anything better, you can always trade with the Americans. They had carbine.
Oh, okay.
So you could always go and trade if you wanted to trade, if you could trade with them.
So was that allowed, or is it?
That was allowed, yeah, it was tolerated. You see a lot of guys walking around with carbines. I even had one guy in my platoon, he had a 7 rifle, a Chinese rifle, an Australian rifle, and a Canadian rifle. He used a gun, he liked guns, and he was trading them. He could speak the language, and he was trading them.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
And so it was like a motley crew.
Yeah, because we had World War II type of weapons, stun gun and brain gun, and a lot of that stuff, like the stun gun is not too efficient, it's only a $2 weapon, and misfire all the time. So you can trade with the American for a carbine, then it's much better, I think.
Right. And what would the Americans get out of it?
Well, we were giving them booze.
You were, eh?
Yeah, you had to give them something. That's the only thing they will accept is booze. They won't accept money. So because we're using script money, and they were British script, and they didn't want to use that at all.
Right.
But they will, if you get them a bottle of booze, you can say the carbine. I guess they would say we lost it, so we get another one. The Americans got a lot of stuff.
And they didn't have booze, is that right?
The American, no, we didn't want to trade with them for booze. We were still in the Commonwealth division, so we were still controlled by the British.
Right. So you would have worked with the Australians.
At the time we got, at one time when we got American helmet,
yeah,
it's almost only until the British could give us British helmet.
Oh, okay.
Because we had gone over with a Canadian helmet and gas mask and everything. But then when we got there, we threw that away. Because they told us you won't need it up here.
Oh, really?
There won't be any gas. And they said, you won't need your helmet, there's not that much shelling. But then 6 months later, there was a lot of shelling. We didn't have any helmet, and then also the American loaned us helmet for 3 days, and after that we had British helmet.
Oh, I see.
They also wanted to find out if the Chinese hated the American more than the Canadian or the British.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3 days, they didn't let anybody talk on the radio unless they could talk real good English. And after 3 days, the Chinese came up with the loudspeaker, said, "We know you're Canadian. Take your American helmet off, or we take your head off with it." So we took our helmet off. British thing. They did increase the shelling because they thought we were American. The shelling was, because when you move to a new position, that's the only talk you get with the people you replace. They're in a rush to get out of there. They don't want to stay 1 minute longer. But you can ask, the only way, you always ask them, what's it like up here? How much shelling you get a day? How many shell you get in one day coming your way? And with the Canadian will say, well, maybe how much shell a day? But with the American, the tempo increased 3 times.
Really?
3 days, yeah. They did. Well, the Americans are the one keeping the war going.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as soon as we got the British helmet back on, the shelling went back down to normal. See, because ourselves we could not keep the war going. It had to be the American or the South Korean.
Right.
They supply the most troops.
Right.
I
see. So describe to me an average day.
Well, you get up in the morning, and then you go up and try to get some eggs if you can. And the kitchen is always flimsy. It's just one little kitchen there. And you pick it up and you come and eat. And then the sergeant major there would only be one phone in where we were, and the sergeant major had it. And he's the one that I would report to, and he would tell me what I should go for the day.
Right. He
would say, well, so-and-so rifle company want you up there to do something. And the RSM, the sergeant major, wants you to do something, to blow his trailer up or something. And I would go and do it, see.
Right.
And the next day we start again. And we try to stay busy, because if you don't stay busy, you go nutty.
Right.
So you got to keep busy. See, you got to walk around and try to do something.
What were the living conditions? You told me a bit about the dugout.
The dugout was the worst thing. Yeah, the dugout was the worst thing. And
food.
The food was not too good. We were fed by the American. It was easier for the Canadian government to pay the American directly for us, to feed us and transport us to Korea.
Oh, okay.
So they were paying them like $13 a day per man. That would include our meals and our transport to Korea.
Oh, I see.
It was easier to directly, because the Americans were already supplying so much troops. So we were getting American food, and there was some stuff I wasn't used to, like the chicken a la king. we were getting this all the time. I never had it before, but I sure had it for a year there. Chicken electing. Yeah.
Have you ever had it since?
No, chicken electing. Too many.
I've talked to so many men who said some of the food they had too much, they'll never have it again.
Yeah. And the combat ration, you would only get this when it was not possible to get it in the kitchen.
The rations.
Yeah, and then they will, and you wouldn't stay longer than 1 month on that, because this is stuff in cans and you got to eat it. And there's a few cans are okay. Meatball and gravy, that's okay.
Okay. What about mail service?
The mail was pretty good, but mail would come. We were waiting for the mail all the time.
Yeah.
My mother, she wrote to me. She's the only one to write to me. And she sent me clipping of a newspaper in Canada where there was article on Courier.
Right.
And there's people getting all kinds of mail. The married people who were married.
Oh, who were married, yeah.
Yeah, they were the worst as far as I was. Because they were getting mail and their wife wanted them back home. And then they wanted them home, so.
That would have been hard for them.
That would have been hard for them, yeah. Like in one night, I had one guy die in my arms. And I found out one day that he had 7 children.
No.
And that really affects me because I thought, how come they send a guy with 7 children to Korea? We were all young together, people 20 years old. And why did they send a guy with 7 children? I since met his wife. I talked to his wife now. And that's true, she had 7 children. But he had been in World War II and he wanted to get back in the army. So he got back to go to Korea, see.
And then he died.
Then he died there on his way out. It was his last couple of days there. His time was up. She even got a letter from him after she was told he was dead. The letter took longer to get to Canada. And in that letter he was telling her, I'm out of the rifle company. I'm in this place a little safer, which was Fox 2 where I was. But it was not safer enough, you know.
No,
It was still only about a mile or so. And he got killed there.
So you were injured, right?
Yeah, I was injured there.
And how were you treated?
Oh, that was good. It was a Commonwealth hospital in Japan, Japan, and each floor was run by a different nurse. Everybody, I wish I would have been burned because I would have been looked after by the French nurse, and I would have got beer because they give you beer to build new skins.
Oh.
But I was with the broken people, broken legs and arms. I was looked after by a British nurse, which very stiff people. And when I had a cancer, they gave me crutches. I could go out after a while. And to make sure that you come back at 5 o'clock and you be picked up by the military police easily, they issue you a red tie with a white shirt under your jacket so they can spot you in the bar right away. You're wearing a red tie and a white shirt. And then if it's after 5 o'clock, they know you belong to the hospital. They pick you up, take you back.
So were there like pubs and places around?
We went to, it's a port and it's a big town.
Yeah.
And the hospital was the old Japanese hospital in World War II. Right. And Navy hospital. And there were a lot of cockroaches though. But otherwise it was okay.
Yeah.
And it was the Commonwealth place for the Commonwealth people to go.
Right.
Yeah. And then Korea, when I left to go there, we were transported by New Zealander, C-47 New Zealander.
Okay.
And we all stretcher case. But in my case, the only reason I'm on a stretcher because I don't have crutches. Because I could sit, but I don't have any crutches. Right. After they put the cast on it, I got no crutches to get up and move. So that's why that airplane was fitted with all stretcher. Right. All stretcher, they would say.
Air ambulance.
Air ambulance type of plane, yeah. C-47, Dakota. And as soon as I got to Japan, they burn our clothing. You're not allowed to take any clothing to Japan. The Japanese people, government didn't want any clothing from Korea.
Really?
So they burned all our clothing in Korea and they gave us pajamas. So we all ended up in Japan on a train, from the plane to the hospital on a train, and pajamas. That's all we had. People outside looking at us, we're all in pajamas. That's okay.
Did you ever go on leave?
We had 5 days leave. They call R&R, rest and recuperation.
Yeah.
This, you would get this after 6 months. since we were such a big blob, like 1,000, and the army always ran from A to Z. My name is St. Louis, which is S. I only went after 9 months.
Oh, I see.
So, and you only had 5 days, and they flew you from Japan to Tokyo, and they give you all the money you want in your book, and you could get new clothing if you wanted, or if you wish, you could. We got there at midnight, and I kept my old clothing. You couldn't get any new clothing at midnight. So I just said, give me my money, and I just took off in town. This was called rest and recuperation. And when you come back from there, you were more tired than when you left. 5 days.
In Tokyo.
In Tokyo, that's a big town. There's a lot of things going there.
Yeah.
A lot of things going in Tokyo. And this was just a big party for 5 days.
Right. Was there a lot of you that went at once?
Yeah, well, a lot of us and a lot of us. And the hotels separate people by country again. First floor would be like American, second floor Canadian, third floor Australian.
In the hotel?
In the hotel, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we all mix in the bar, but we would sleep in all different. They separate by country because there's a lot of infighting going on between countries sometimes. See?
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah.
But people started drinking and stuff. Or?
Yeah, drinking and everything. That was a nice place.
Yeah,
it was a nice place.
Describe social life in the service. Would you ever have movies, or would people come?
You mean in Korea? In Korea, no. There was USO show coming in the back, but we never saw that.
No.
No, we couldn't leave the front.
All right.
Even at Christmas, when the officer was supposed to serve you a dinner, with chicken. Well, we went in a small group, and I went on the 28th. I went again from A to Z, I guess. When my time came to go, I was on the 28th of December for the Christmas party. They took us to A echelon, and then we'll be sitting and eating that nice meal, and the officer would serve us. That was the only time we went out.
Right.
To go and see movies, you couldn't do that because you have to be on the front.
Yeah.
You're not even allowed to, if you had a brother on the Apple company, you would have to ask permission to go and see him. Because you're not supposed to leave your spot. Otherwise, people would be walking all over.
Do you have one memory or experience that stands out the most in your time in Korea?
Well, the time I picked up that guy that died, that affects me a bit.
Yeah.
He was at night, I didn't see him. I didn't know his face. I never saw his face. And I found out he had 7 kids. That bothered me a bit. And he was making such a noise too, and I guess he was unconscious. He was I think he must have bleeded completely out. He was open on the left side. And I was hiding under my truck. It was shelling that night. I was hiding under my truck between the wheels.
You're hiding under your truck?
Yeah. And there were 2 differential. There was a 4-wheel on each side, and I was hiding there. And I heard a vehicle coming up. So there was no lights in Korea. The vehicle all the lights have been disconnected. And I heard this vehicle coming up, and I said, who's driving when there's shelling going on? And I said, I told the men with me, I'm going to go and check, see who's this guy driving when there's shelling going on. And as I got closer, it was a small Jeep ambulance with a red cross on the side. It's a Jeep that can carry two stretchers.
Oh, okay.
And he had turned around and he had back up against the hill. And as I got close to him, there's a driver and an assistant. The assistant had taken the stretcher out, and he put it in my hand and said, go and get him. I said, who's this? He said, well, there's somebody wanted up here. So I took off toward the hill, and I went over where the noise was. There was some noise going on there. And I got there, and this guy was in his 2-man's trench, and he had his arms out, and he was making such a racket with his, coming out of his mouth and gargles. And there was a couple of guys standing there, and they said, no, put him on the stretcher. And we put him on the stretcher, and we were rushing down the hill because I want to go back to my truck and hide under it again. And the stretcher slides on 2 slides like this. And when they put the stretcher, I was in the back, and they said, push. And when I push it, I should have lifted it. I never did it before. I didn't know. I must have had it too low because it blocked 3/4 of the way. And the guy slid out. That wanted to slide out and to the Jeep. So I went into the Jeep, and I grabbed him. And I had in my arms, and then he stopped making noise, And then about an hour and a half later, I was near the road where they had some fuel drums. I was doing the guard there, and the track came up to a fuel. And he said, I'm taking the dead pupil to the train. He said, there's a guy in there from this place. So I went inside and I looked how they prepare those people when they're dead, you know, and they're Canadian, but they're wrapped in the American blanket, light brown, and they got the telephone wire like they wear, like you see a hand with things around it, and they got a big tag around the neck, but that say which one they got and the information on it. And I look at them. He was not alone. There was other people too. I look at this one. He said, "This guy's from up here," and that's how. And the driver told me he's got 7 kids. The word already spread that this guy got 7 kids, and they're taking them to the train, raided, and then they go down to Pouzin to be buried in this Commonwealth cemetery.
Right, right. That would have been quite vivid, eh? Yeah. So, when you came home, what were your feelings?
I came home. I was quite happy, and I didn't know what to think, and I didn't know what I wanted. And I came out of the Army in August, and within 2 weeks, I was back in the Air Force. I was broke, no more money. I was in Winnipeg. I joined up the Air Force. So this time, I'm going to learn a trade, because when you come out of the Army from the infantry, even if you're there 3.5 years, all you know is how to kill people and blow stuff up. Mm-hmm. That's not a trade, you see. So this time, I'm going to go and learn a good trade. See, so I went in the Air Force and I learned electronics. Oh, okay. And I worked all my life in electronics.
Oh, okay.
I was a radar technician, yeah. Because the Air Force, they train you with some very good trade, you see.
Right.
I guess the Army might have some good trade, but not in the infantry.
Right.
You should have to go in something else.
Right, right. What was your journey home from Japan?
It was quite long again. It was another boat ride from Japan to Seattle, which lasted about 14 days. And then the train all the way back east. That's another 6 or 7 days. Because those troop trains, they don't go all the time. They stop to make you do exercise, but they stop in the middle of the field somewhere. And you go out and you do exercise for half an hour, go back home.
Just doing stretches and stuff.
Stretches stuff and PTs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And it's stuff. I think the first stop was Winnipeg and the city. But then you're not allowed to get out of the train station anyway. And then the next stop was Montreal. And then they took us on buses and went to Quebec City. Mm-hmm. And then they gave us 60 days on vacation leave. 60 days, 2 months. Plus, since we were going out of the Army, we had 21 days. So we had 81 days of leave. But they give you money for about 10 or 20. So
you got to get a job, eh?
You got to stretch it everything, eh?
And that's why you joined the RCA.
Yeah, that's why I joined the Air Force. I was completely broke after 81 days.
When you came back, what did it feel like coming back to your hometown?
Well, in Quebec City, I had a girl there waiting for me.
Right.
So I forgot about my mother, which was 300 miles lower in Quebec City. So by the time I got home, all the cakes were dry, and everybody was a bit unhappy about me because I forgot all completely about that. See, and then they were. Then you just walk around, and you're not. It takes you a while to get adjusted. It takes you a while to get it because you're used to living under tension all the time, and very close to army people. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you got to fend for yourself on the side of the street. You see. Right. And it takes you a while to get adjusted. Mm-hmm. And what I did is I stay away from all those veteran associations for about 50 years.
Oh, you did, eh?
Yeah, only when I was 55 years old I went back in the Legion. Before I did, I still away.
Why was that?
Well, if I was not close to a military pupil, ex-army guy from Korea, then you wouldn't have to think all the time about those things. They wouldn't talk about those things.
Right.
So it's better to bury it, I say. And I raised one family that way. I didn't say anything. And when I was 55 years old and I stopped working, I got closer to those associations. And now I'm with them. See, we meet and talk. We're all old people anyway.
Right, talk about old times.
Talk about those, yeah. And when we were in the army, stuff like that.
So, what did you do for work?
After the Air Force, I was a qualified electronic technician. Okay. Then I went to work on the dew line. Just an early warning. That's up in the Arctic.
Oh yeah.
They were really radar sight against the Cold War was going on full blast, and the part in Canada they ought to use at least 80% of Canadian on this. The American would build the line, and they operate the line. So I went to work there 18 months. I was trained in the States. A lot of U.S. Air Force was giving us a lot of those World War II Jewish camp and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
To give us some more or less like brainwashing a bit.
Really, eh?
To tell us why we were going to the Arctic to man this line. This line, you had 58 sides there. It was a side every 50 miles from Baffin Island all over to Alaska.
Okay.
And the Canadian part was manned by Canadian or British or New Zealand or people like that. And after that, I worked for C.A. Victor for the Navy, the Canadian Navy, 15 years. I worked with them. So I did all three service, really. But this one I was a civilian.
Oh, I see.
And I worked on the Navy contract. I came up here to Esquimalt or Halifax. I worked on those destroyer escort stuff, gunnery stuff, electronic stuff.
Oh, I see.
Gunners and stuff like that, yeah. So I spent most of my life around military or ships or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I followed all the people working with me. They were all ex-servicemen.
Really, eh?
Yeah, the Navy, they prefer to give contract to ex-service people because they know how to perform in the service, I see.
Right.
So there's no, you would not have somebody that never been in the service.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And after that, I became I was doing skydiving. I became an instructor on skydiving.
Oh, yeah.
And then I run the skydiving school. I run the largest skydiving school in Canada. And I met my wife there, my second wife. She's a skydiver. And I met her there, and we created another family. And then I became a pilot because I own planes. And if I tell my pilots how to run the plane, they said, you don't know you're not a pilot. So I took to flying, and I became a commercial pilot.
Oh, okay.
And my wife became a pilot too. And we spent I jumped 25 years. And when I reached 55, I started having heart problems. The people that went to Korea, they did a survey, and they said because of those dugouts and living in the cold, the average life expectancy was 54 at one time. I'm 70 now. I'm still going. So at 55, I got this, starting having heart problems. I had bypass and stuff like that, so I stopped flying and sort of retired.
Right.
And Korea was serving me real good. The Army served me real good because I qualified for all those veteran allowance and stuff like that.
Right.
All my teeth are taken care of, my glass, my ears, anything. They look after you quite good in Canada.
So you felt that Veterans Affairs has done a good job?
Yeah, they've done a good. They do a better job than in the States.
Mm.
I see Vietnam guys with no legs and stuff like that. They don't get taken care of as much as that. They got so many vets for that, like you see.
Right.
But in Canada is a very good.
Well, that's good to hear, eh?
Yeah, they're very good.
Do you belong to any veterans organization?
I belong to this Korean Veteran Association.
Mm.
We meet in Burnaby once a month. We have lunch.
Yeah.
And when I was back east, I belonged to the other one too.
Right.
But now the group is getting so small. Pretty soon we're bound to disappear. It's not like the Legion where they get new people.
Right.
It's open only to Korean vets. So as we get older, nothing will happen after a while. So
Right. Right.
I go to a meeting now. There's only 6 of us meeting at a meeting. All the 6 are full. They all own sick or they're in the hospital. Or they can't budge. They can't drive. No. It's not. It's not. Those are not a very happy meeting. People's got all kinds of problems. You know.
Yeah.
They're getting old. I think I would say average age is 70 now.
Yeah.
There may be 1 or 2 at 69 or 68, but that's about it. Yeah. And I joined the Legion. The Legion's okay now.
Yeah.
They don't give me a hard time anymore. They're so few of World War II now. There used to be a lot of them before, but now there's the Korean guy, there's really few because only 26,000 served.
Right.
All over Canada. So.
Big difference.
Big difference, yeah.
What does it mean to you to be a veteran?
Well, when I was in Korea, they were telling us we were fighting the communist people. Now I see there's no more communists today, you see. And we're fighting the Chinese people. And now China is pretty friendly, you see. And we thought we had the right cause, but they also was them too.
Yeah.
And I think we were looking for adventure, and it was adventure for them.
Yeah.
It took me out of my small town anyway. Brought me to the big city, you see. I was 18 years old. We didn't have any TV home. There was no TV. So I saw my first color person at 18 years old. I saw that. We didn't have any electricity up to 1947. 3 years before I joined up the army. So there was a lot of stuff I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the big city. People from the big city, they were so smart compared to us from the Lower St. Lawrence.
Yeah.
All those people that came from Montreal in the army, they all speak English. They were street smart and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
we were from the bush, right?
Yeah.
But they were good people. Yeah, they're good people.
How do you celebrate Remembrance Day?
Oh, this year I went to, I wear my medal.
Yeah.
And I put my, this year I started wearing my airborne hat. And I went to, up here in Cenotaph in U.S. because my son was the color party commander.
Oh, okay.
He's in the cadets. This big kid, he's very big now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's a sergeant in the Air Force cadets.
Right.
He wanted me to go there. I usually go to Burnaby with my group.
Oh, I see.
Korean people. This year I did a special for him because he wanted me to see him in the parade. Next year I start going back to Burnaby with the Korean vets.
Do you still maintain friendships with people from
the
war?
I got one guy from my platoon. I called him every couple of weeks. He lives near Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
He was with me all the way through. He was in my platoon. He didn't, in fact, when I got hurt from my heels, he was in the same Seoul hospital, clearinghouse in Seoul. He had his arms in a cast or a sling. But then at that clearinghouse in Seoul, there was something to see there. You're in this big room, and in the morning they put the X-ray on your medical record at the foot of your bed, and the officer comes around and you decide where you go from there.
Oh, okay.
And there was two places you could go. You could go to Japan by plane, or you could go near Pusan, South Korea, on one of those big Swedish hospital ships. Everybody wants to go to Japan, see? And everybody complaining to go, hoping to go to Japan. And my friend, he got chosen to go in the ship, hospital ship. And I got chosen to go to Japan. But I didn't know what they said it because I didn't speak the language. And they all came around and they said, you're very lucky. You're going to Japan, see? And I said, oh boy. We had one pair of crutches to go to the washroom for all 40 of us. And they were adjusted for the tall guy. So you had them like this. And trying to go down slippery step to go to one washroom.
So supplies were pretty.
Yeah, well, I say they had put this cast on without washing my legs, eh? And like I said before, we only had shower once a month. And in the winter, I didn't go to shower for 2. I missed the truck on purpose twice because you come back from the shower and you open truck. And there's 2-3 inches snow outside, and you drive about 5 miles to get back. And in November, I had catch a very sensitive a bit to cold or draft. So when the January came up, the truck was going to come up the next day. I found myself a job. See?
Yeah.
And then February, I found myself a job. And then in March, I met this medical guy, and he had a little black book. He was looking after the latrine and the shower people. And he said he had my name in the book because I missed the truck. I said, what are you going to do about this thing? Nothing, I just wanted to know, you're very dirty after 3 months. I said, well, I go in March when it gets warmer.
Right. Well,
so I only got one friend.
Yeah.
That I called. And he's living in Ottawa. And he spent all his life in the Navy and the Air Force. He joined up the Air Force after. I didn't see him much because we're in the Air Force, you're not together.
Right.
You're not like a regiment, you see.
Right.
You're spread out all over the country. And that's the only guy I talked to. And those guys up here, what I do now, I talk to people, and if they've been in the infantry, I've become very friendly.
Right.
If they've been in the artillery or the engineer or tank, or I'm not so friendly. But
right.
They didn't have to sleep in dugouts and stuff like that.
Right.
They were in a tent, maybe 5 miles in the back. They had a nice big stove. And but the people that had to stay in the infantry and be in those dugouts on the hill there, they deserve that. Today, if I was going in a dugout like this at my age, I'd be dead in no time.
Yeah.
Because of the on the cold and stuff like that. When you're 20, you're full of pepper.
Yeah.
You sleep with your hat on.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. St. Louis.